driving radical innovations. We will be talking about everything that how to come up with an innovative products and innovative services. Now, how do we foster this culture of innovation? And remember, I'm not talking about incremental renovations. It is we are talking about the radical innovations. Come, let us explore this presentation and watch this video very carefully to stimulate innovation in your mind. Remember, the agenda is to define innovation, do some basic research about innovations. Creativity and innovations is what we are looking into it. And remember, creativity and innovation goes hand in hand. Dynamics of technological innovation, industrial implications, and technological innovation that we are aspiring to be. That is what we are looking forward to. Yes, this is what we will be discussing in today's presentation. Innovations, innovations, and innovations. Can we have a little sprinkling of creativity in between them? Can we bring a little bit of technological imperative incentives in all our innovation? Let us also understand the implications thereby. So let us proceed with innovation. Remember, if you look into it, this is what we have been trying to give it to you. It is an all-round views of an staircase which is taking a not only serving the purpose of a staircase of climbing one floor from another, but it is also creating a wonderful impression. If you look from the top, it looks so interesting and so well manicured. So that is what we are looking for it. It's not a regular staircase that been done about it. The circular staircase now found in many advanced modern building. It is all about innovation. Innovation is making changes to something established with a little bit of an incremental new things around but there. So we are making something changes, we are changing something altogether, at the same time making an incremental change or something, bring something new in the process. So, essence and purpose of innovation. Innovation is the process of making changes to something established by introducing something new, and that is what adds values to the customer. This is what we are looking at the end of the day with the customers is concerned. This is what we want to aspire to, and that is what we call innovation. An incremental change to essentially what something has been existing for time immemorial. So let us understand what else can be included in the concept of innovation. Let me take you forward to the innovation. Innovation, remember, is the process of making change to something which is already established by introducing something new that add values to the customers and contributes to the knowledge store of the organization. Yes, it adds values, it adds utilities to the customers or the knowledge store of the organization. The fundamental general formula, I started from the bottommost flow to the topmost flow that have come around it. Innovation essentially is a process of making change, be it large, be it small, be it incremental, be it radical, to the product, to the processes and services that result in the introduction of new something new for the organization that adds value to the customers and contribute to the knowledge store of the organization thereby. And that is what we are looking at it as far as innovation is concerned. So what does it mean? Remember, what does it mean? Applying innovation is application of practical tools and techniques which makes changes large and small to products and processes, the services that result in the introduction of something new for the organization and adds value to the customers and contributes to the store of in the body of knowledge for the organization. I again remember it is the way you apply to it, apply innovation to the practical usage of the tools and the technique. And it can be definitively a large step or a small step. It can be completely new, completely radically, absolutely innovative, or minuscule changes to the existing thing. Anyway, whichever way you do it, it should result in complicity, in compliance with the existing rules, norms, and probably the mere fact that it does an ease of operation and ease of access for both the organization and the end customer. There is a delight factor being introduced, and that is what we are looking for, adding of values. So the age of known revolutions innovation from simple light bulb to CFLs, and now it is LEDs. And look at it, what we used to have, the halogen bulb that comes to used to go. It's the candle which is moving around, and then it's the bulb that comes around with the CFL, and now it is LED. So hardly did we know that small thing like bulb literally illuminates our life. Remember, it's them what we are looking into it. Let's say the date of birth of candles was in second century BC, where we are looking into it. Electric bulbs was in the 19th century. What was happening? Fluorescent bulb is in the 20th century, and LED bulbs in the 21st century. Look how innovations have come around it. Essentially, the purpose of each of the thing product was seen to illuminate the dark room. Another bright example is what I've been putting forward in front of you, the development of wheels. In fact, it is being said that two best discovery that mankind has ever done is that the discovery of a wheel and the discovery of the fire, without which the modern life would not have been possible. And the earliest traditional wheel was something like this, which moved on to the cart basis. We put it introduced and introduced a rubber to it, and probably now a full-fledged with not only with rubber, with only air around it, no tubes around. Absolutely is a tubeless tire that is walking around. And this is what happened with this kind of wheels. There was a lot of jerks. Your comfort of the journey depended upon the type of the road that you travel, and come what may, this tire ensure that despite how difficult the terrain would have been, the comfort of the journey is not been compromised at all. So look at innovations. Innovations are born and grow under the efforts of creative people, and this is what we are talking by creative people. It is being manipulated, it is being cultivated altogether as on when on basis by the persons who are actually looking things from a different perspective. Remember, creative people make more use of the mental raw material and practical knowledge to go ahead with it. With other people, creativity is not a trait that we inherit in our genes, but or a blessing bestowed upon by the angel. It is a skill which we develop. It is a skill that we acquire. It's an application of knowledge. It is an application of skill that is being brought in forward towards it. So that is what is innovation is all about. It innovation grows and grows under the wings of the creative people only. Now let me understand what is the source of creativity. Creativity begins with imagination. Anybody who dreams and dreams big and ensure that whatever he or she dreams, she is the light of the day, makes them a reality is all creativity is all about it. Creativity begins with imagination of a thing that is not existing but should be. Remember, right now I am talking to you that in the next century, probably a part of our species, that is what the humankind would be in a different planet altogether. When I say in a different planet, I'm talking they are not going to be existing in the earth. They would be in a different planet, probably a centuries from now. In fact, earth would be a barren planet, and we would have shifted somewhere else. We would have multiplied somewhere else as a species as we go around it. Now, this is an imagination that I'm talking around it. You will not be there. I will not be there. Essentially, this is going to what going to happen, and you are taking what you are taking steps to make it a reality. We are doing so. It means identification of a problem and envisioning of the original way to solve it satisfactorily. Creativity can be bound and practically necessity or an artistic expression, but it is something very original, not done before or not done in the particular fashion in a way. So without creativity, there would be no innovations, and without innovation, there would be no progress. Without progress, there is nothing new. It is all mundane. It is all boring. Can tell you from my lifespan. There were times there was not a there was no form of connectivity. In form of connections, we have to write letters and postcard. Now things have changed. We have introduced a landline, which was a fixed line into the home. Then came the wireless phone, which has a fixed parameters around it. Now every person is taking their phone in their mobile, or the mobile in their pants, and probably moving in the person and being accessible as on when on basis. Talking about in a different fashion, if you can relate to it, even in the sense of writing letters to making a phone call. Nowadays, things have made technologies have made progress by leaps and bounds. we can actually not only talk but actually see the person live as we talk. Was it imagined approximately 25 years back? It was not even thought of, or people would have actually laughed it off. But it is a reality as of today. 50 years back, it was unimagined. People would have ridiculed us. 100 years back, people would have taken you for as a mad fellow if you would have said that this is what we are looking at it. So, anatomy of creativity is all about expertise and thinking skill set. Your expertise, your creative thinking skill set, and the motivation that you can concord with it. If these three ingredients are mixed in a proper unison, we come with a toxic or absolutely fabulous cocktail, if you want to go it, that is known as creativity. Creativity arises through confluence of three components, that is creative thinking skills, motivation, and expertise. Managers can influence this constituents of creativity through workplace practices and conditions of teaching that we look into it. This is what we are aspiring to. This is the hard realities of life that comes around it. This is what the anatomy of creativity is all about it. Creative thinking skills, motivation, and expertise. Creativity is the most impossible without the creative thinking skills is all about it. Remember, creative thinking skill determines how flexibly and imaginatively people approach the problem. Does the solution direct append the status quo, or it is preservation through the dry self spell enough as the case might be? We are talking about motivations. All of us do work, and they do work for different reasons. Some do it for their bread and butter, some do it for the maintaining their reputation, some do it for just for the status, some do it just to passing on the time. Financial rewards are frequently a key factor. I'm giving you so many reasons for people, why do people work, why a person undertakes a certain job. However, money is not everything. Individual wants to enjoy by his work, be challenged by it, achieve personal fulfillment. For many people, their careers are ongoing learning experiences. This is their intrinsic motivations as we go around it. Let us choose to understand, verify, and probably dissect what do we when we say, what do we mean when we say expertise. It is all available data without innovations. Remember, what is innovation? It can be technical procedures, can be intellectual procedures. General suggestions regarding expertise are following. It is all relevant knowledge, outlook, and retrospective which an individual brings to bear in it. Creative effort to resolve the problem that is we looking into. Look, remember here, only 5% of our creative abilities are being we inheriting from our parents. Everything else we do it by ourselves. So if you look into it, only 5%, less than 5% is genetics. Rest is all about grit and patience, and that is what the creativity is all about. It creativity is not an ability to create out of nothing. Only God can do it. We are not trying to assume ourselves to be a God, but the ability to generate new ideas by combining, by changing, by applying or reapplying the existing knowledge and ideas that goes around it. This is what Harris in 1998 said by it. I am putting forward two wonderful examples of creativity. Look, this is a chair and this is a bed. This is a chair and this is a table. The way you want to put forward around it, and that is what we are looking forward. It's a chair. The number of people can work around. Number of people can sit around. You just have to flexibly fold it. It's a simple procedure. Doesn't require it doesn't require any mechanical intervention. Some of the best ideas are creative ideas. Look what Bill Gates have done with Windows, and probably if you're watching it in an Android device or in a laptop, you must be doing it in a window-enabled devices that have been there. So let us understand technological innovations. Technological innovation is comprehensive process which we look forward to for the generation of ideas, for the generation of leads to the production and commercialization. Yes, this is what we are looking to when we there is a convergence of technologies and ideas leads to the production and commercialization. Technological innovation is an invention along with exploitation which covers all the efforts of creation, new ideas, and getting them to work, including also the process of commercial development. Let us understand the stages of technological innovation. Remember, it's a mental repercussion that comes around it, and that is how I have depicted the brain for you to understand. Is the different kind of pulleys and levers that are working around it. You know, if you say I dream to do it, you think you can do it and may actually go about to doing it. But the point of fact is when you say I can do it, I shall do it, I will do it, I am doing it and I'm done with it, I dream to do it. So that is what we'll all about it. Yes, this is what dreaming is all about. Yes, this is what we all aspire to be in the fact, in the face of the mental representation as of technological innovation is concerned. The chart of technological innovation process, if you look into it one by one, there are 5 steps. First is the knowledge, acquire them. Please understand them, form an attitude of how you're going to utilize those knowledge. Decision is to adopt and to reject. The fourth point is to implement and reuse. The confirmation of the decision is what we are looking into it. First stage of adoption process is knowledge. Performer is the first exposed to an innovation but lack the information about it. At this stage of the adoption process, anyone has been able to inspire an innovation in detail. Required to find more data regarding the innovation process altogether. How do we access it? How do we go about by it? The second stage is all about persuasion. Persuade, keep on working upon it, and I'm sure your success is going to touch your feet one day, and this day is going to come much sooner than you ever even if you expected. At this stage, who is interested in innovation actively seeks related information in detail. He does a patent search. He is trying to know if there is somebody else who has already thought onto it on the same direction as the person would be looking into it. The third stage is the decision stage. Is all about innovation. Creator takes the concept of the change and beats in the advantages or disadvantages of using the innovations and decide whether to adopt or to reject the innovation. Due to the individualistic nature of the stage, many specialists note that it is the most difficult on which it is required to acquire the evidences. That is what we look forward to it. Fourth stage is the implementation stage. Yes, this is the most important stage. Entrepreneurs will employ innovations to a varying amount of degrees, depending upon the situation. During this stage, the individual also determine the usefulness of the innovation and may search for further confirmation, further informations around it. Yes, this is the implementation stage when the person might be ridiculed, but a person might taste initial success and so on and so forth. But the fifth stage is the last stage being of confirmation. This is the stage where the decision adoption process, anybody can finalize his or her decision to continue using the innovation. This stage is both interpersonal and intrapersonal. It suffices the community needs and the individual needs together. It is the confirmation of the producers and the consumer are on the right direction that they want to continue with. Yes, we are talking of the mechanism of innovation's diffusion. When innovation occurs, it may be spread. It may be spread from an innovator to other individuals. If we look into it, current technology, people change the game altogether. And then there is in a hierarchy, and you are changing from a right direction and a different direction, and you are improving upon it, and eventually you are riding the pillar. You might be changing the game plan altogether. Look what have I said about from the telephone, when it was two hand devices to enable into a single hand devices. From a landline it will become a wireless phone, then it became a mobile, the mobile with keypads, and right now most of your mobile are supposed to be a smart mobile without a keypad. How can it goes around it? This process has been proposed that the life cycle of innovation. Remember, diffusion of innovation research was first started in 1903 by the French sociologist Gabriel Trade, who first plotted the S curve, as I've been saying around it, in the diffusion curves altogether. We will try to bolster those incremental innovations. Look at it first and foremost, then things go wrong, and then you start to pick up the things and probably make an improvement. If you don't make an improvement, it goes down, but it is your incremental innovation that leads, let it go upper and upper and upper and upper. This is at the passage of the time, it goes upper. You keep on improving on your incremental things, so which extend profitability, which extend the product life, and so on and so forth. It is a series of small improvement to an existing product product or a product line that usually helps maintain, improve its competitive position over a period of time. Incremental innovation is regularly used within the high technology business by companies that needs to continue to improve their products to include new features increasingly desired by the consumer. This brings me to the last particular topic, the slide for the day of disruptive innovations. Remember, we are talking about radical innovations driving through. It is breaking the wall. It is creating a new field altogether. See the low quality use, the medium quality use, the high quality use, and the most demanding use. When we plot the productivity of a customer, of our organization in terms of performances on y-axis and time on x-axis, disruptive technologies bypasses everything. Remember the example that I've been giving with your mobile, right from the landline to a wireless mobile to a mobile with keypad, and then the breakthrough technology, the disruptive technology of coming up with a keyless mobile or the smartphone that comes around it. That was a disruptive technology that took all the keypad mobile or swept it away. And I hope with this you would have understood what innovation is all about it and how do we bring up the radical innovation, the sense, the creativity, the mentality of manipulating knowledge, motivations, and the willpower to use to work about it. With this, I end up this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.